Welcome back to the deep dive. I have to be honest with you, right out of the gate, today's topic feels like we're stepping into a time machine.
Oh, yeah.
And not necessarily the cool sci-fi kind, more like the kind that takes us back to a 1950s boardroom filled with gold watches and lifetime
I have
pensions.
a feeling I know exactly where you're going with this.
We are talking about loyalty. And specifically, we are diving into a book called Loyalty Rules by Frederick F. But here is the elephant in the room, and it is a massive elephant.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a listener driving to work right now, or maybe I'm on the treadmill and I hear the word loyalty in the context of modern business, my immediate reaction is, yeah, right.
Loyalty schmoyalty.
Exactly. That's the phrase, right? Loyalty,
Yeah.
schmoyalty. Because look around, we live in the era of the gig economy. We live in the era of quiet quitting.
Right.
We see companies laying off thousands of people via a Zoom call after record-breaking quarters. So telling someone they should be loyal feels almost naive.
Yeah, naive
Or worse, like they're being played.
Hmm.
It feels like the rational move in 2026 is to be a mercenary. You look out for number one, you jump ship every 18 months to get that 20% raise, and you treat every company like a temporary stopover.
It's a completely valid feeling. And
Sure.
frankly, if you look at the surface level data, the cynics are absolutely right. The old social contract, that idea that if you give a company your best years, they will take care of you in your old age, that is dead. It's buried.
Completely gone.
And attempting to resurrect that specific version of loyalty is, it's just a waste of time.
Okay, so if the contract is dead and we're all just free agents now, why are we spending the next hour talking about this book? Is Reichheld just shouting at clouds here?
That is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
See, Reichheld isn't arguing for a return to paternalism. He's not saying we should go back to the 1950s. His argument is actually much more aggressive and, frankly, much more interesting.
Yeah.
He believes that because the world is volatile, because the internet has made switching costs almost zero, and because everyone is a free agent, loyalty has transformed. It has gone from being a nice-to-have, soft skill, something you put on a plaque in the lobby,
Right. The mission statement on the wall.
to the only hard mathematical equation that actually keeps a business alive in the digital age.
The only one. That's a massive claim. You're saying loyalty isn't just about warm fuzzies, it's about survival math.
It is pure survival math. Reichheld calls loyalty the acid test of leadership, and he draws a very sharp line in the sand between two ways of doing business. He calls them the high road and the low road.
All right, let's unpack that. Because usually when people say high road, they mean doing the moral thing even if it costs you money.
In the short term, yes. But let's look at the low road first. This is what you were describing earlier, the mercenary approach. The low road is essentially profiting at the expense of your partners.
Partners meaning customers and employees.
Exactly. Think about a company that locks you into a confusing cell phone contract. You want to leave, but you can't because of the termination fee.
Yes, we've all been there.
Or think about an airline that uses yield management to gouge you for the last seat on the plane because they know you're desperate. Or a company that burns out its junior employees knowing they'll quit in 2 years just to extract maximum labor.
Right, they are extracting value, not creating it. They're creating hostages, not loyalists.
Precisely. And the thing is, the low road works.
It does.
It works in the short term. You can show a great quarterly profit by squeezing your suppliers or tricking your customers, but it's a sugar high. It inevitably crashes because the moment your hostages see an unlocked door, they run and never come back. Reichheld's argument for the high road is that you earn profits through the success of your partners. You only win if they win.
So it's not charity, it's a symbiotic relationship.
It's enlightened self-interest. And before we get into the cold, hard numbers, and the numbers are fascinating, there's a very human element to this book that I think sets the tone. Reichheld dedicates the book to his parents, and he shares a formula they lived by. It's a moral equation.
I saw that in the notes. It sounded more like something you'd hear in church than in a business school.
It does, but stick with me. The formula is love X, courage, perseverance, loyalty.
Love, courage, perseverance. Love is a dangerous word to use in a boardroom. HR usually gets nervous.
They do. But in this context, love means genuinely caring about the well-being of the people you do business with.
Yeah.
Courage is the bravery to stick to your principles when the low road is offering you quick cash. And perseverance is the grit to do it over and over again, year after year.
Okay, that sounds beautiful. It really does. But I'm going to put my skeptic hat back on. I'm the CFO now. I'm looking at the spreadsheet. Can you prove to me that Love X Courage actually pays the bills?
Jockles, okay.
Because my shareholders don't care about love. They care about margins.
Challenge accepted. Let's look at the microeconomics. This isn't philosophy, it's accounting. Reichelt calls it the loyalty effect.
So walk me through the math. Where does the money actually come from?
To understand this, you have to visualize the life cycle of a customer. Let's imagine a graph.
Okay.
When a new customer walks in the door, let's say they sign up for a credit card or buy an insurance policy, what happens to the company's bank account in that exact moment?
Well, they made a sale, so revenue comes in.
Revenue comes in, but profit usually goes down. In fact, you are often deep in the red. Reichelt calls this the acquisition cost spike.
Ah.
Think about what it took to get you to sign that paper. The TV ads, the direct mail, the salesperson's commission, the administrative setup costs. In year one, most customers are actually a liability. They are a hole in the balance sheet.
Okay, so I'm a cost center. I'm an investment.
Exactly. You are in the valley of death. Now, if you're a low-road company, or if you just have bad service, that customer might leave after 12 months.
Right, they find a better deal.
Maybe they find a slightly better APR, or they get annoyed with your call center. If they leave in year one, the company didn't just not make money. They subsidized that customer's existence. They paid for the privilege of serving them and got nothing in return.
This is a leaky bucket concept. You're pouring water in the top, spending millions on marketing, but it's pouring out the holes in the bottom.
And here's where the loyalty effect kicks in. If you can keep that customer for year 2, year 3, year 5, the economics completely flip.
How so?
First, the acquisition cost is paid off. Second, operating costs drop because long-term customers know how your system works. They don't call the help desk every day. Third, they tend to buy more. They consolidate their spending with you. And fourth, they refer their friends.
Which is free marketing.
Exactly. So a year 5 customer isn't just 5 times more valuable than a year 1 customer. They might be 100 times more valuable because they are pure profit. Reichelt's research shows that a mere 5% increase in customer retention can boost profits by 25 to 95% depending on the industry.
5% retention yields almost double the profit. That is leverage.
It is massive leverage. And this is the part that answers your internet kills loyalty objection. Reichelt argues that the internet actually makes this more extreme, not less.
How? I would think the internet destroys loyalty because I can compare prices on Amazon in 3 seconds. If you're $1 more expensive, I'm gone.
That's true for the consumer, but look at it from the business side. In the digital economy, customer acquisition costs are insane.
Right.
You are bidding against the entire world on Google AdWords or Facebook ads just to get one click. Acquisition costs in e-commerce can be 20 to 40% higher than traditional retail.
So the hole you start in is deeper.
Much deeper. If you are an online business and you churn customers, you are mathematically guaranteed to go bankrupt. You cannot grow your way out of a leaky bucket online. You need that retention just to break even.
So the loyalty schmoyalty crowd is actually dead wrong. In a digital world, loyalty is the only thing standing between you and insolvency.
Precisely. Look at eBay.
Right.
Reichelt uses them as a prime example.
Yeah.
eBay's customer acquisition cost is historically incredibly low, less than $10 in the early days.
Wow.
Why? Because of what Reichelt calls word of mouth.
Word of mouth. I like that.
The loyal customers did the marketing, but they also did the work. They did the tech support in the forums. They policed the site with the rating system. The customers were the company. That is the ultimate high-road economic model.
Okay, so the math checks out. We know why we need loyalty, but how do we get it? Because it's not just about sending a happy birthday email. Reichelt lays out 6 principles. And the first one is play to win-win.
Play to win-win. It sounds like a cliche, right?
It sounds like a poster in a break room.
But in practice, it is incredibly difficult because it requires you to fight your own instincts. The instinct in business is often zero-sum.
For me to win, you have to lose.
Exactly. If I can sneak a hidden fee past you, I win $50 and you lose $50.
Right. And if I can squeeze my supplier to lower their price below their cost, I increase my margin.
Reichelt says that is a shortcut to a dead end. A win-win strategy means you refuse to profit at the expense of your partner. Let's look at this State Farm insurance case study.
Okay.
This is a perfect example because it happened right when the internet was starting to terrify everyone.
Okay, take us back. It's the mid-90s.
It's 1996. The internet is exploding.
Right.
Direct-to-consumer insurance companies like Geico are popping up. Their whole pitch is, we don't have agents, we don't pay commissions, so we are 15% cheaper.
Cut out the middleman. That was the mantra of the 90s.
Exactly. So imagine you are in the State Farm boardroom. It is a bloodbath. The smart money consultants are screaming, you have to fire the agents. They're a dead weight. We need to go direct to compete on price.
It seems like the logical move. I mean, if you don't cut costs, you die.
But State Farm leadership looked at the high road. They realized that their agents weren't just middlemen. They were the face of the trust. They were the partners who had built the company. If State Farm cut them out, they would destroy the loyalty of the entire network.
So what did they do? They couldn't just ignore the internet?
No, they didn't ignore it. They integrated it. They decided to use the web to empower the agents, not replace them.
Okay, how?
They built systems where if a customer called a 1-800 number at midnight, the service center would handle it, but the information and the credit would go to the local agent. They invested in the partnership rather than dissolving it.
That is a massive gamble. They basically bet that customers would value the relationship more than saving a few bucks.
And it paid off. Retention stayed high. Because when you actually have a house fire or a lawsuit, you don't want a 1-800 number. You want Bob, who knows your kids, to show up and help. State Farm realized that efficiency at the expense of the relationship was a false economy.
There's another example in this section that I really love because it shows how creative you have to be to find a win-win. It's Dell. Now, I usually think of Dell as a ruthless efficiency machine, not a warm and fuzzy partner.
Oh, Dell is ruthless, but they are ruthlessly logical. They realized that their corporate clients had a major problem.
Okay.
These companies wanted to buy new Dell computers, but they had warehouses full of old, outdated, junk-old PCs, monitors, printers that they didn't know how to get rid of.
It was a logjam. You can't fit the new stuff in until the old stuff is gone.
Exactly. Now, the low-road thinking would be, not my problem. I sell new computers. You figure out your trash.
Right. I'm in sales, not waste management.
But Dell saw a win-win opportunity. They launched Dell Auction. They built a website to help their customers auction off their old gear, even if it wasn't Dell brand.
No way.
Yeah, they helped them clear the decks.
That is brilliant. They solved a problem that wasn't even their business just to make the customer's life easier.
And by doing that, they unlocked the budget for the new computers. That is the definition of win-win. I help you solve your problem, and in doing so, I clear the path for my own success. It's not charity, it's strategic empathy.
Strategic empathy. I like that. Okay, let's pivot to principle number 2. This is where Reichheld starts to ruffle some feathers. The principle is be picky.
The subtitle is Membership is a Privilege.
This feels counterintuitive. Usually the rule is the customer is always right and revenue is revenue. If someone wants to give you money, you take it. But Reichheld is saying, maybe you shouldn't.
He is. He introduces a great taxonomy for customers here. He divides them into barnacles and butterflies.
I love these visuals. Break them down.
A butterfly is a customer who is flighty. They chase the best deal. They flutter in because you have a sale. They take the discount, and then they flutter away the moment a competitor offers a coupon.
Okay.
They are beautiful to look at. They bring in revenue today, but they have no loyalty.
And the barnacle.
The barnacle sticks. They latch onto the hull of your ship, and they stay for the long haul. They fit your business model. They are low maintenance, high value. Reichheld's argument is that you need to actively discourage the butterflies and recruit the barnacles.
Discourage them, you mean like fire them?
Sometimes, yes. Let's look at Vanguard again. They're the masters of this. Vanguard's entire business model is built on low costs and long-term index investing.
Right.
They are a tractor, not a Ferrari. They're built for plowing fields slowly and reliably.
Right. They aren't built for day trading.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But sometimes butterflies, market timers, day traders try to use Vanguard like a Ferrari. They move millions of dollars in and out of funds trying to time the market.
And why is that bad for Vanguard? Money is money, right?
No, because that activity creates costs. It creates transaction fees, administrative work, tax implications. If Vanguard allows those butterflies to play their games, the costs go up for everyone. The loyal barnacles, the retirees who have been there for 20 years, end up subsidizing the day traders.
So it's a fairness issue.
It is. John Bogle, the founder, was fanatical about this. He actually banned telephone transfers for index funds at one point to make it harder to switch.
Wow.
He wanted to make the product unattractive to people who wanted to use it wrong.
He added friction on purpose.
Yes. There is a legendary story where Bogle saw a huge redemption, someone pulling $25 million out of a fund. Now, most CEOs would panic. Oh no, we lost a whale.
Sure.
Bogle investigated it personally, not to try to win them back, but to find out, in his words, who let the wrong customer on board.
That is incredible. He wasn't mad the money left. He was mad the money ever arrived.
Because that customer was a pollutant to the system. By being picky, by saying no to the wrong revenue, Vanguard protects the low-cost structure that keeps the right customers loyal.
It's essentially saying we are not for everyone, and that requires a lot of confidence.
It requires humility. The humility to know you cannot be all things to all people. You have to pick your lane. And this applies to employees too.
Yes, the enterprise rent-a-car hiring process. This blew my mind. They're the biggest recruiter of college grads in the U.S., right?
They are. And if you look at who they hire, it's not the 4.0 GPA valedictorian from Harvard.
Who are they looking for?
They're looking for the ex-athlete, the fraternity president, the sorority social chair. They want people who have social endurance.
Social endurance. That sounds like a polite way of saying people who can deal with grumpy customers all day.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Enterprise knows their business.
No.
It's tough. You are renting cars to people who just crashed theirs. They are stressed. They're in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
You need employees who can smile through that, who have empathy, and who hustle. Enterprise's philosophy is, I can teach a social person how to read a balance sheet. I cannot teach a wallflower how to charm an angry customer.
So they screen for personality and train for skill?
Exactly. If they hired the introverted genius, that person would burn out in 3 months. That's bad for the employee and bad for the company. Being picky creates a tribe of people who actually thrive in your specific environment.
Okay, let's move to principle number 3. Keep it simple. Now, when I think of loyalty, I think of relationships. I don't necessarily think of org charts and bureaucracy. Why is simplicity a loyalty rule?
Because complexity is the enemy of speed, and speed is the currency of trust.
Ooh, say more about that.
If a customer has a problem and your employee has to ask 3 different managers for permission to fix it, you have broken the trust. You've signaled that you care more about your internal rules than the customer's problem.
Right. I have to ask my supervisor is the phrase that kills loyalty.
Exactly. Reichheld argues that loyalty flourishes in small teams. Human beings aren't wired to be loyal to a nameless, faceless corporation of 50,000 people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We are wired to be loyal to a squad, a platoon, a team of 6 to 10 people.
So how do you scale that? How does a giant company act small?
You break it down, look at Enterprise again. They're massive, but they are structured as a confederation of partnerships. Every branch is its own small business. The branch manager is effectively the CEO of that location.
They have that much autonomy.
They do. They see their own profit and loss statement. They hire their own people. And crucially, Enterprise publishes the financial results of every branch for everyone to see.
Radical transparency.
And radical accountability. If you are the manager of the downtown branch, you can see exactly how you stack up against the airport branch.
Oh, wow.
It creates this friendly rivalry, managers wagering dinners on who will have better growth.
Right.
But more importantly, it means there is no bureaucratic hiding place. You and your small team own the result.
It sounds like it turns employees into owners.
It does. Harley-Davidson did the same thing on the manufacturing floor. They moved from top-down management to work groups of 4 to 12 people.
I bet the unions loved that.
They hated it at first. It felt like chaos. It felt like management was abdicating responsibility. But once the team settled in, productivity skyrocketed.
Why?
Because if you slack off in a factory of 1,000 people, no one notices. If you slack off in a team of 5, you are letting your friends down.
That's positive peer pressure.
It's loyalty to the team. And that drives performance better than any manager with a clipboard ever could.
There's another angle on simplicity here with Dell, involving virtual integration. This is about how they work with suppliers, right?
Yes. Dell's philosophy is, if we aren't the best in the world at it, we don't do it. So they outsource almost everything. Component manufacturing, shipping, repairs.
I just focus on the customer relationship?
Right. But to the customer, it feels seamless. If your Dell breaks, a technician shows up. That technician might work for a third-party contractor, but you don't know that.
Got it.
The systems are so integrated that it flows perfectly. By simplifying their own internal structure, by not trying to own the trucks in the factories, Dell can move at lightning speed.
Complexity slows you down, simplicity keeps you agile.
And in the internet age, agility is everything.
All right, principle number 4. This is the one that I think most companies fail at. Reward the right results.
This is where the rubber meets the road. You can talk about loyalty all day long, you can put up posters, you can have team meetings, but if you pay your salespeople to churn and burn, they are going to churn and burn.
Show me the incentive, and I'll show you the outcome.
Exactly. The problem is that most companies reward bad profits. They pay commissions on volume. Bring in 100 new customers this month, and you get a bonus.
And nobody asks if those 100 customers stay for next month.
Right. So the salesperson brings in 100 butterflies who cancel in 90 days. The salesperson gets the cash, and the company gets the loss. Reichheld argues that incentives must mirror value creation. You have to reward retention.
Enterprise has a tool for this called the ESQUI score.
Yeah.
And this sounds terrifying if you're an employee.
It is the ultimate trapdoor. EQIS stands for Enterprise Service Quality Index. It's a simple survey they send to customers. One of the questions is, are you satisfied with your service?
Sounds standard.
But here is the kicker. They only count the answer completely satisfied. If a customer says somewhat satisfied, that counts as a 0. It's pass-fail.
Wow. High standards.
But here is where it gets real. You cannot, I repeat, cannot get promoted at Enterprise if your branch has a below-average ESQI score.
Wait, really? What if I'm the most profitable manager in the state? What if I'm breaking sales records?
It doesn't matter. You are frozen. You are unpromotable.
That is brutal. I'm popping the champagne because of my sales numbers, and corporate is saying, put the cork back in, your customers aren't happy enough.
Exactly. Because Enterprise knows that if you are profitable, but your customers are, you are generating bad profits. You are squeezing the customer. You are burning the furniture to heat the house. If they promote you, you will just teach those bad habits to a whole district of people. They quarantine the bad culture.
That sends a powerful signal to every 22-year-old trainee. Customer service isn't just nice. It is the only gateway to your future.
It forces alignment. Compare that to a call center, where reps are measured on average handle time, how fast they can hang up.
Right.
That incentivizes being rude. Enterprise incentivizes making people happy.
Vanguard does this too with their partnership plan.
Yes. Since Vanguard is a mutual company owned by the funds and therefore owned by the clients, they don't have a normal stock price.
Oh, okay.
So employees get a bonus based on how much better Vanguard funds perform compared to the competition.
So if the clients make more money, the employees make more money.
It ties everyone to the same mast. If we cut costs, client returns go up and our bonuses go up. Everyone wins together.
Reichheld also mentions stock options here, and he's pretty critical of them, which is surprising because usually stock options are seen as the ultimate ownership tool.
His critique is that stock options often reward mediocrity. A rising tide lifts all boats. In a raging bull market, even a badly run company's stock goes up. Why should a CEO get $100 million just because the Federal Reserve cut interest rates?
Fair point. It's luck, not value creation.
Reichheld prefers incentives tied to things you can control, like retention rates, customer satisfaction, or relative performance against competitors. Reward the work, not the market conditions.
Moving on to principle number 5. Listen hard, talk straight.
This is about the foundation of all relationships. Trust. And you cannot trust someone who keeps secrets or spins the truth.
Radical transparency again.
Yes. The example here is Cisco Systems and their legendary CEO, John Chambers. Chambers didn't just talk about customer satisfaction. He made it the central nervous system of the company. He linked executive bonuses to satisfaction surveys, but he took it a step further.
How so?
He publicly ranked his vice presidents based on their customer satisfaction scores.
Publicly, like in front of the whole company.
In front of their peers. Imagine that meeting. You look at the screen, and there is your face, and there is your score. And if you are at the bottom, everyone knows you are the one failing the customer.
That is intense. There is nowhere to hide.
It's brutal, but effective. It creates a culture where you cannot hide bad news. Chambers had the same attitude with regulators. He would tell antitrust authorities, look, I'm an open book. If I'm doing something wrong, tell me. Let's talk about it and I'll fix it.
It disarms people. It's hard to fight someone who is saying, here are all my cards.
Exactly. Trust increases speed. If I trust you, we don't need a 50-page contract. We can do business on a handshake. That's faster and cheaper.
There's a story in this section that really got to me. It's about Enterprise and Xerox. It shows the human side of B2B relationships.
Yes, this is a profound example. Enterprise treats its vendors like Xerox, who supplies their office machines as insiders. They share profit goals, they share data, but the reciprocity is what matters. There was a tragic incident where a Xerox employee who managed the Enterprise account died in a car crash.
Oh, wow.
Now, technically, this person was just a vendor rep, but Enterprise didn't see it that way. They provided vans for the funeral, they supported the family, they treated him like he was one of their own employees.
That goes so far beyond a contract. That's community.
And imagine how the rest of the Xerox team felt. Imagine the loyalty they felt toward Enterprise after seeing that. You would run through a brick wall for a client who treated your fallen colleague with that kind of dignity.
Yeah,
That isn't business. That is the love part of the formula coming to life.
it really is. It's showing that the high road isn't just about money, it's about decency.
And decency pays.
We are at the final principle now. Principle number 6. Preach what you practice.
Notice the reversal there. Usually we say practice what you preach.
Right, walk the walk.
Reichheld assumes you are already walking the walk. If you aren't, don't bother preaching.
Yeah.
But if you are acting with integrity, you have an obligation to explain why.
Why is the explaining part important? Can't people just see it?
Not always. And more importantly, they can't replicate it if they don't understand the underlying principle. You have to codify the values so that employees can apply them in new, unforeseen situations.
You have to give them the compass.
Exactly. There was a great story about Intuit, the company that makes TurboTax. Scott Cook, the founder, did something drastic. He shut down the entire company for a day
Just to talk.
just to write down their mission and values, to define their true north. Now, at the time, that cost them a lot of money and lost productivity. It seemed like a waste.
Navel gazing.
Right. But years later, when Intuit had to pivot from selling software in boxes to being an online company, that clarity saved them. Everyone knew why they existed, to solve the customer's problem, not to sell CD-ROMs. The mission guided the pivot.
If they hadn't preached it, they might have cloned to the old business model and died.
Exactly. Reichheld suggests a tool for this called the tombstone exercise.
Sounds a bit morbid.
It is, but it cuts through the noise. He suggests leaders should write the speech they want given at their retirement, or even what they want on their tombstone now.
Start with the end in mind.
Precisely. Do you want your tombstone to read? He increased shareholder value by 12% in the third quarter of 2004.
No one wants that. That's a tragic tombstone.
He wanted to say, he built a company that treated people fairly, or she helped her employees grow into leaders. When you clarify that end goal, it changes how you act on a Tuesday afternoon when you have a tough decision to make.
It forces you to look at the long term. And that's really the theme of this whole deep dive. Loyalty is a long game.
It is. And in a world of short-term day trading and quarterly capitalism, playing the long game is a massive competitive advantage.
So we've covered the 6 principles: win-win, be picky, keep it simple, reward results, listen hard, and preach it. It's a comprehensive framework.
It is, and I want to circle back to where we started, loyalty schmoyalty.
The skeptics.
The skeptics are right that blind loyalty is dead, but they are wrong about the value of earned loyalty. In a connected world, your reputation is your most valuable asset. Loyalty is simply the accumulated interest on your reputation.
Reichheld has a tool for this, right? The acid test.
Yes. It's a simple survey found in the book. Ask your employees and your customers, does this company deserve your loyalty? If the answer is no, you are sitting on a time bomb.
And if the answer is yes,
Then you have a rocket ship. You have lower costs, higher retention, better morale, and sustainable growth. You have the high road.
So, to the listener, take a look at your own business. Look at your relationships. Are you building barnacles or chasing butterflies? Are you playing win-win or are you creating hostages? It's worth asking.
It's the difference between burning out and building something that lasts.
Absolutely. One final thought before we go. We talked a lot about business today, but that formula, love X courage X perseverance, I think that applies everywhere. Your marriage, your friendships, your community. Maybe the high road isn't just for profits.
That is a provocative thought to end on.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.
See you then.